So Insomniac Games recently shared some info about Spider-Man's release, and it turns out it was the chart-topping game of September and the third best-selling title of the year so far. This is absolutely well-deserved. I loved every minute of my playthrough, but it's worth asking why it's so highly praised. It's basically become a meme at this point, but the phrase that kept popping up in all the reviews was that you feel like Spider-Man. The thing is, like, what does that even mean? Are they saying it feels good to web sling around town? Do you feel like a boss because you get to take down waves of baddies with a bunch of gadgets? While this is all true, personally I think you feel like Spider-Man because of the attention to detail Insomniac blended into the experience. Let's break it down a little bit. I split this up into 3 main categories. The first one being that you get to basically walk through Spidey's daily routine. The very first thing you do in the game is learn how to fly around New York with your webs, and I don't think this is an accident. It's true that it feels great to fling yourself from building to building, and it has some complex physics going on since it has to actually cling to specific surfaces instead of just attaching to the abyss above you. But I think swinging from webs is simply the vehicle used to show you the flow of what our hero's average day looks like. Everything happens quickly in this game, and with very few obstacles to slow you down. You can speed from mission to mission all while parkouring, collecting doodads, or completing mini quests along the way. And this is where the first tiny detail popped up that really impressed me. They knew you'd be hopping around so often that they recorded 2 separate versions of every piece of dialogue Spider-Man says. One for when he's not active,
So what do we know about Charles Standish?
and another for when he's exerting himself, adding in some grunts and labored breathing.
Partners. Sounds good.
Furthermore, as to not break the flow and make you sit and wait for an important conversation to finish, if you trigger a cutscene or close in on your next major checkpoint, Spider-Man will hang up his phone and focus on the task at hand. Then the next opportunity he gets, he'll continue that call and pick up where they left off.
Hey May, sorry we got cut off. Just wanted to check. Think I could crash at the shelter tonight?
Now, this progression of Spider-Man's routine can incorporate many different things, stopping nearby crimes, volunteering at a local shelter, or of course uncovering the mystery of the main plot, but they also sprinkle in different interests of Peter Parker that you can complete at your discretion. Not everything is about saving the city, sometimes it's fun to take pictures of landmarks, discover a new breakthrough in science, and maintain relationships with those that you love. Obviously, Peter is a busy guy. You do often wonder how he's able to manage everything on his plate. And while he does lose track of time and fumble his obligations now and again, it's that sense of flow that ties it all together nicely. It's funny because they probably added these stealth sections with MJ and Miles to add some variety, but I think they're the weakest part of the game because of how divergent they are from the rapid in and out nature of the rest of the adventure. On your way to one situation, you can stop a robbery in less than a minute and keep going. The fact that you can snap a quick shot of a building while still continuing your momentum is super satisfying. And it makes sense when Peter feels worn down and realizes he hasn't slept in a few days, so he needs to take a break. He's still human. Second, Insomniac didn't forget that our favorite arachnid's nickname is the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man for a reason. After completing a main mission, the game often won't let you start the next story beat right away, but instead urges you to explore and take on the abundance of side tasks that are at your disposal. Peter will even exclaim that he's neglected the city for a while and needs to let the big baddies take a back seat.
All this time with Lee, I've been ignoring the city. Time to get back to being a friendly neighborhood Spidey.
And some of the optional stuff you can do are hilariously simple or juvenile in comparison to taking down warehouses of goons or stopping a supervillain from destroying an entire block. But Spider-Man still wants to do them anyway. He'll gather some birds just because a nice guy asked him to. He'll locate a missing person, or even check up on people just to make sure they're doing alright. He strikes up conversation with people on the subway and lets them sleep on his shoulder. We're basically one step away from saving cats in trees, but that's not a bad thing. It really rounds out what Spidey stands for. He cares about everyone, not just the most diabolical threats. In fact, this is further emphasized by the fact that he never kills any adversary. If someone falls off a rooftop in the heat of battle, some sort of web device will activate and stick them to the side of the building, making sure their dive isn't fatal. Every task and goal you do is framed in the context of helping other people, even if you get a secondary benefit as well. Plus, I mean, there's an entire button dedicated to giving finger guns and waving at people on the street. How can you not love this? Finally, the last thing that stuck out to me is that they didn't let Spider-Man's humor go to waste either. Most of this can be attributed to great writing, like the tale of Spider Cop and his detective work around the city.
Are you narrating yourself?
What? No! Of course not! The chief never did understand Spider Cop. Thought he was a loose cannon.
But they threw in a lot of Easter eggs that totally didn't have to be there, but just add so much more flair and charisma. The different suits you can unlock are great nods to the comics. But the best one by far is the actual comic book suit that looks very jarring at first glance, but also unlocks the special ability to throw dorky quips at the villains. You can literally just insult anyone you're fighting like a true 1960s superhero. There's so many little details, like being able to do tricks and stunts while you fly, that add to Spider-Man's personality and complete the package of what he represents. It's so much more than foiling the plans of dangerous lunatics. It's caring about an entire city's issues, big or small, while still allowing yourself to be a kid sometimes. I mean, he's not a kid anymore, but like, it's still inside, you know? Like, do we ever truly grow up? I think you get what I mean. Yeah, you get it.